Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast where we bring authors and industry experts together to talk about all things books and make the journey to authorship just a little bit easier. My name is Larissa Sohan, and I am the CEO of Next Page Publishing, a hybrid publishing house where we help entrepreneurs write books to grow their businesses. In 2021, I published my first sci-fi novel, The Defender, through a hybrid publishing company. And from that experience, I learned exactly what not to do. When I joined with this very big publishing company, I was put in a system that was designed to push out thousands of books a year, and I was just a cog in the wheel. And it was heartbreaking when my first book was published and it was a flop. In that moment, I made it my mission to found a hybrid publishing company that was going to give aspiring authors the experience that they deserve. Now I'm on a mission to help aspiring authors feel like they are in control of the publishing journey and that they are supported by a team of experts who genuinely want the best for them and their books. If you are in the very beginning of your journey, or maybe you have a manuscript that you're finished and you're not sure how to get it out into the world, I encourage you to reach out to us at nextpagepublishing.net. You can schedule your free discovery call and find out how our team of experts can make your journey to being a published author easy, smooth, and successful. Now, without further ado, let's get on to our next amazing guest and make your journey to authorship a little less complicated. Welcome everybody to today's episode where we're going to be talking about a very special time in your book's life, the launch. This is when you have gone through all of the other crazy steps to becoming an author, and now you are at the spot where your book is about to enter the world. And this is where we need to be thinking very strategically. So ideally, you are about 3 to 4 months out of your launch. That is when this episode is going to have the most bang for your buck. If that's not you, if you are well beyond that stage, your book comes out tomorrow, that's okay. In this episode, you're going to hear and learn that it's okay to launch your book more than one time, because as I know from experience, the first launch doesn't always go the way you want it. So welcome Rich Bontrager. He is the creator and host of How to Rock the Stage show, airing live each Wednesday night. Rich hosts the National Speakers Association NSA podcaster, author forums, and the new NSA live show, Behind the Stage. Entrepreneurs, executives, and speakers hire Rich to unleash their brand authority by learning media savvy skills to help them build their media brand empire. Welcome, Rich. It's so good to have you on the show as my very special guest, because we do a lot of talking about how to write your book, how to edit your book. But when we get to marketing, which is the skill authors really need to have, sometimes we don't even know what to ask when it comes to marketing our book. And you're coming in a very unique outlook on this. Maybe talk a little bit about what it is that you do for authors.
Well, thanks, first of all, for having me on, Larissa. This is great. And you're right. Marketing is often the afterthought. Often I kind of tell the stories that authors are creators, they're writers, they're fabulous at what they do. And every book project is like their new baby. But after you have the baby, you realize, now I have to know what to do with the baby. And it takes on a life of its own. I come alongside of authors, publisher, writers to help them realize media is now their best friend. And I create media projects, book launch parties, interview segments to help amplify them and their brand. Their book is their brand, but not just the book is the brand, they are the brand genius of their brand. And most authors are missing that part of it. They want to write, they want to tell their stories, but really people become very interested in the author. And that's where I can help them show up, be authentic, and people get to know them in a very more deeply personal way.
I think that's such a good point, because I'm going to talk about me as baby author a couple of years ago with my first book. Absolutely, marketing was the last thing I was thinking about. I was of the mindset, if I write it, they will come. And that is so far from true, as you and I now know.
Yes.
And my first book was actually quite the flop. And I've talked about it very openly on these channels before, because it's a reality that so many authors face. And then they don't go back and try again. And it's heartbreaking.
Well, that's one thing, that failure to launch is not failure to actually launch. no one says you can't go back and relaunch.
Yes.
And especially during the pandemic, I had several clients reach out and said, pandemic killed my book. It didn't go the way I wanted to. Can I maybe sort of, is it okay to do it again, Rich? And I said, yes,
Yeah.
because no one really caught it the first time. Don't even tell people you're relaunching it. Just go launch it.
Yeah.
And leverage media
Yeah.
to your advantage.
Absolutely. I think my mom might notice if I relaunched it, but beyond that, the world didn't know it happened. So what's the harm in doing it again? And
Right.
what happened with my second book is, so it flopped. It sold the customary 30 copies to my friends and family, and then that was it. Well, 2 years later, once I got into as an official publisher, and I learned, no, marketing is something you very actively have to do. I did
Yes.
relaunch my book. It became an international bestseller. It sold hundreds and hundreds of copies. And it's basically what I built my business on the back of. And that is the power of media marketing. And I love that you're here because it was media that did it for me. So let's talk about what media an author can want to have for their book.
It's endless now, really, Larissa. It really is endless. And I want to make it very clear. We're not just talking about media on the backside. Often the authors think about, what do I do next? It's what do you do before the book as well? Media is surrounding you now 360 before, during, and after. So you can use video to your advantage. And I highly encourage people to leverage video. You can do a book trailer now, like a mini movie, just like you would have your favorite film, do a book trailer, put that on Amazon as a trailer teaser for your book. You can do interviews like we're doing right now, video, audio, streaming content, leverage it on your YouTube channel, put that into an excerpt from your book. You can do so much on that side of it, but now I do virtual book launch parties. And that's a whole media entity. It's not just a one and done event. Now you have media content that you can repurpose, reshare, drive people to your landing page. I also make it very interactive with a live studio audience. So now you have live people hearing you, seeing you, and consuming your product all at the same time. It really is. I mean, audio novels are exploding. It really is endless on what you can do with media now. So I tell people, think like Walt Disney. Walt Disney took a cartoon character and turned it into a media empire.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey is everywhere in every version of media. Why can't you do that as an author?
Yeah. There's two points I want to hit on in that. The first is the repurposing the content, because as an author, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, all of those fun things, social media is vast and huge and overwhelming. And if you don't like it, then you are in an uphill battle. And one of the things that I have learned to do is to find ways to repurpose what I've created across all of my different platforms. And the kind of parties that you're putting together are giving authors that content to go forward and do that with.
Yeah. So you have the long content. It's an hour-long live event. You have the shorter content. I have 3 different people beam in as testimonials. They can be friends, family, people that have read the book, and they brag on you. So right away, I have 3 testimonial clips to get out of 1 long excerpt. And then I have sound bites that I curate as I interview the book author. There's more curated content. You can do this over and over again and just dribble these little curated content clips out. But the trick is, and most miss this, put a link to the short content that drives back to your main content. Put a link in your short content that goes back to buying your book. Put it there, it goes back to your website. You're not just using the link to fill up short content. You're using that clip to drive people back to you, the genius.
Yeah. And for those that aren't in the marketing world, you're creating funnels. Those are basically mini funnels that push people to your book. I love that. The other thing I wanted to hit on was, you said it so quickly that I want to come back to it, is people invest in the author, not necessarily your book. Talk about that, because that is so true.
That's changed a lot. It used to be just consume a book, consume a book. We have become more people centric, I think. I think we are interested in celebrities, and authors often fall into celebrity in our own mind in some way. We want to get to know not just the story they created, but why did they create it? What's the hidden meaning behind it? Is there part of themselves in the book or in a special character? Especially if they do several books, you get more curious about the real person that wrote it. They are the creator, the author, but they also are the individual that you can learn more from. Think of the book as a lead magnet. The book itself is a lead magnet. It's their business card. So more and more as you read the book, it drives you back to learn more about the author. That's the new media empire that you can start building on.
Yeah. And for those that are listening, I back this wholeheartedly because that is how I relaunched my first book. I stepped away from the synopsis of my book because it wasn't going anywhere. Nobody really gave a darn. It was the story of how I wrote the book, what the main character meant to me, how she struggled as I struggled, how she brought me through depression. That was the story that people wanted to hear. That was what made them pick up the book. And then the book makes them leave the 5 stars, but it's that celebrity status.
Well, you know this. What's the number one place that people go to when they pick up a book on the bookshelf? The back cover.
Mm-hmm.
The back cover usually has a picture of the author, a quick little bio of who they are, what their expertise, and maybe a quote or two from the book.
Yeah.
Naturally, we're driven to who the heck are they? And I want to know them more. So we're already doing it with the books. Why not do it with everything else now and drive them to you as a go-to expert?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Awesome. So we know why we need media now. We know that it's taking over by storm. It's bigger than any other form of promotion at this point in our world. What important skills for media do authors need to have?
Number one, and I've coached many of them, is you have to learn how to speak on stage. And it's funny because they write so eloquently. They are stories, they're creators. They know how to grab you and pull you in, but you put a mic in their hands and they only want to talk about the book, or they freeze. They just don't know how to come alive and be natural. So there is media presentation coaching that they need to have to really come alive, whether it's an audio podcast, a TV interview, if you're on your local news talking about it, if you're at your public library, which many try to go and speak at the library, you need to have presentation skills because it's not the book, it's you and the book combined together. That's why I compare Mickey and Walt Disney. They're inseparable together. Walt would talk about it and Mickey would come alive. It's the same way for the authors. They have to learn how to speak and lead that way.
Yeah. And again, Rich is a great resource to go to that. And we're going to put all his contact information in the show notes so you can head to his websites and find out how to get one-on-one coaching from him. But before I was able to afford one-on-one coaching, the best way for me to learn was to listen to those I love. Listen to who's telling the story. How are they telling it? The pauses, the inflections, the details, and then mirror that. Practice in the mirror, literally in the mirror. Practice your story. Yeah.
Well, either that or turn on Zoom or Google Meets and record yourself. That's even better because now you can see yourself. You can replay it. You can listen. You can see where you got emotional, where you didn't get emotional. You can see your body language, which is a big part of communication, body language. The other thing they need to learn is how to appear on other people's shows as a great guest. There are ways to be a professional guest on shows. You see celebrities do this, news journalism, even the president does it. They know their sound bites. They know those little quotes. Everyone's going to grab that one great quote. That's not an accident. They practice it, but they learn how to do it naturally. In any interview, they know how to weave the story to get to where they want to share their great quote. That's a training skill set. So you need to learn how to be a great guest, to tell your story, to share the information, grab the audience, so they will go click and follow that link.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's you and I were chatting before the show, is what I had to learn was how to do the call to actions in a way that didn't feel salesy and icky and uncomfortable for me and the listeners. Like, how do you do that? It's not like, hey, go to my website. It's like, I'd love to tell you more. I have this amazing free resource that you can check out on my website. You just head to nextpagepublishing.net and grab yourself a free copy. And it's soft and it's beautiful. It's inviting and it's not used carsman, the used cars dealership anymore. Yeah. Well, it just feels better.
Part of the other media skill set, when you get in this public speaking and whatnot, you want to learn to talk in first person. I wrote this book for you. Now, you may be talking to thousands of people, but everyone's going to hear you, me personally.
Mhm.
So please go check out my landing page. They'll find something just for you there.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that changes the tone of salesmanship to, oh, they're personally inviting me to come drop by. Who doesn't want to drop by?
Yeah, exactly. Like their doors are open for me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So let's talk a little bit more about the virtual launch party, because this really excites me in this day and age of post-COVID. I measure everything in pre-COVID, post-COVID, right? The world has changed for book launches, and it's almost more widely accepted to do virtual launch parties than in-person launch parties now.
Yes.
Because you get to accommodate those friends that are across the country. Your family, your grandma that's in her nursing home can come to your launch party now, assuming the nurses set up her Zoom for her. But it's more accessible, and it does take away some of that fear of standing in front of a room of people. Now you're standing in front of a screen, and it's not so scary for some of those introverted authors that we work with. Tell us more about what the virtual dinner party is like for your authors.
I like how you call it a dinner party. Yeah, no, it can feel like a dinner party. It really can. And that's the exact emotion you want to get out of it. So these are live streaming. I have done some live in the moment, multiple platforms. Most of them are a Zoom closed door event where you get the invite link, you come and join it, and we go for an hour. And that hour is your own TV show. So the authors need to think about this is your own customized TV show. The spotlight is on you. So I will get those 3 guests to come on in. Sometimes they're pre-recorded, most often they're live, and I will introduce the hour, and often I'll leave with one of those guest stars. The author sometimes doesn't know which one's coming and which one's not coming. So it's that aha surprise moment. And someone else gets to brag on the author. They get to talk about their relationship. They get to talk about the book and how it captivated them. So right away, you get to grab everyone that's experiencing this into the emotional, this is cool, this is fun. About a 20-minute interview, 25-minute interview with the author. Now we learned about why they wrote it, what they wrote it, what are the key components. I always read the books myself. So then I can pull out a quote or two, ask them to answer the quote. Why did you write it this way? Now we're exploring the written word, have another guest on, then we open up for live Q&A. Now everyone who's been there with us gets to ask the author a question about the book themselves, or maybe something they shared personally about it. And then, of course, we're going to give away some prizes. So every time there's a small prize, medium prize, and the big prize. So the author can give away some of their products, autograph items, supplementary material. Maybe they have a course to go give it. It's amazing what, plus we were talking about books that failed to launch earlier. Here's a great way to give a bundle of books to the grand prize. So the book that didn't quite hit gets a new audience right away.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tricks to do that.
Yeah. And it's so special. And what I like about what you do, Rich, is it is a marketing strategy. It is a way to sell your book, but it's also a celebration of the work you have put in. And to have someone like you come in and take away the pressure of having to plan this party and it's like planning a wedding where it's not fun anymore because it's so much work, and it's supposed to be a day of love and celebration. And that's what you and your book deserve. That's why people like Rich exist, to give us back that space.
Well, exactly the point where there's 4 weeks of promotion that I do for you. I will put it on social media. I will stream it out. I will highlight you. One of the variations of my book launch includes another 15-minute pre-interview, 2 p.m. live, streaming on multiple channels. So now I interview you as a teaser video, which you will get a copy of. And you, if you're the publisher, Larissa would get a copy of that as well. So the publisher is getting media, the author is getting media. That's a teaser that leads to the big event. And then all the other content we chop up afterwards. So I'm creating assets for you besides a one-off event.
Yeah. I wish you had existed in my life 3 years ago when my first book came out. Maybe we'll talk about book number 2, which I just
we can
finished
help
editing.
You out.
So you can do it again, right? That's the thing. If you want to celebrate this over and over again, if you want to celebrate it for book 2 in your series, whatever, make it happen for you because you've worked hard for this moment. Make it happen for you.
And I have had authors that have said, I am going to replay my first book launch to let them know what's coming for my next book that I'm working on. So
Mhm.
you get the links, you get all the replay material, and you also get a copy of everyone that registered for the virtual event. You get their emails.
Mhm.
So whether they won a prize or not, you now have a follow-up lead magnet, which we know is gold for anyone that wants to keep the conversation going.
Yeah. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
This sounds a lot like you're leaning towards nonfiction launches, but I'm guessing you do fiction as well. The people that aren't necessarily building the brand so much, but just telling a story.
Well, and that's interesting that you say that. Yes, I do anything. And I'm a sci-fi geek myself. I read a lot of nonfiction with the different clients and people that I work with, but I love science fiction. I love children's stories. I used to do voices for my own children with their children's books. So I love books. But even in those other categories, there is a brand now.
Mhm.
There is an association there with you. So that's where the authors are beginning to learn. They need to identify that brand, stand out from the crowd, because like you said earlier, social media is a whole buzz, but there's so much noise.
Mhm.
Part of what I do is I help you stand out from the crowd by creating quality events. So it is children's science fiction, leadership, it's everything. You need to be seen and heard as an author.
Yeah. And again, we're going to put all of Rich's links into the show notes so that you can reach out to him when you're ready to take that moment of celebration and that pause from the pressure of writing your book and to the gap of now marketing your book, and you can step back and just revel in your pride.
Let me add to that for a second, because I talked to a lot of authors that have said, I'm tired of it now. I wrote it. I'm sick and tired of my own book. I'm finally going to launch it, but they're also tired.
Mhm.
I literally get to throw juice and gasoline and bring it back to life. So it is a party. Literally, I get to take that tired person sometime and say, let's just celebrate. Hold on for a great ride. It's lots of fun. And the authors really enjoy someone else doing the heavy lifting at the end of the line.
Yeah, well, and I, as a publisher, appreciate that. My clients are tired by the time they're done with
Yes.
me, right? And they
Yeah.
need someone like you in their corner to lift them up and show them that this is an amazing thing that you have done. Because you're right.
Yes.
I have just finished round 3 of editing my second sci-fi book. I'm with you. I'm a sci-fi guru or
I want a
sci-fi
copy.
nerd. Publisher in nonfiction, love the sci-fi, and I am tired of that book. I can tell you. I know I'm staring down the barrel of a 4th round of edits. So it's a lot. So Rich, before we wrap up, how can people find you? I know we're going to put the links down in there, but is there any special offers you have for our listeners or anything you want to mention?
So right now I do have a special offer for anyone, and that's a $200 off the regular price of my book launch party. $200 off. Now I have a couple different versions, but I'll give you $200 off any of those versions. Go to my website, rockthestagemedia.com, check out the different options. And we also customize to meet your needs. So sometimes they say, I want more. We can do that. We will work with you at rockthestagemedia.com. Mention this podcast with Larissa, and we will give you that $200 off.
Beautiful. I love that. Okay, Rich, my last question, the question I have for all of my guests is, what advice do you have for aspiring authors?
Go for it sooner than you think to. I've got 3 books in my head. I'm finally getting my first one worked on, and I've waited years and years to do it. Do it. Just do it. Don't be afraid. Go for it. Because there's someone out there probably wanting to read it.
Yes, that's the most common message we hear from our guests is just go for it, because you don't want to look back on that someday and think, oh, it didn't happen. It should have happened by now. People have been telling me I need to write this book and I am not there. You don't want to look back and have regrets. You want to look forward and think, oh my gosh, I did that. I did that thing.
And be creative, have fun. There are so many different sources now that you can make a book interactive, very creative. It's not just words. You can do so much more with a book now because of media assets. So have fun and be creative.